With any construction or renovation project, fire safety is a priority. We must be aware of the vulnerability of patients in the facility and strive to keep them from harm. History has taught us important lessons about fires in healthcare facilities. On May 15, 1929, fire broke out at the Cleveland Clinic in Cleveland, Ohio. The blaze started because of an exposed light bulb was too close to nitrocellulose X-ray film. Two separate explosions forced deadly fumes at a high rate of pressure into the tunnel duct system and into just about every room on every floor of the hospital. Most of the 225 occupants in the hospital were trapped in a smoke cloud of imminent death. The toxic vapors caught everyone by surprise. Several doctors and nurses collapsed at their desks. Others only managed a few steps before dying almost instantly. 123 people, patients, staff, and visitors died on the scene. This accident forced officials to re-examine safety procedures in healthcare and begin the process of the development of compartmentation. You will learn more about compartmentation later in this training. This re-examination of fire safety procedures has been ongoing ever since. Fortunately, today, there is rarely a fire death in healthcare facilities. Those that have occurred are usually the result of faulty electrical appliances or patients and visitors smoking. There are three components of a life safety program. They are detection, suppression, and containment. You should be aware of how your actions while performing work in a healthcare facility can affect any or all of these components. Detection devices are located throughout healthcare facilities. Smoke detectors, sensors for mechanical equipment, and fire alarms are all important for maintaining a safe environment and preventing potentially life-threatening situations. You may be required to disconnect one or all of these systems during certain phases of construction. The interim life safety measures will address this situation by requiring a temporary but equivalent system or plan to be implemented. Take note that a fire watch must be implemented if a detection system is impaired for more than 4 hours in a 24-hour period. The 4 hours do not have to be consecutive. Healthcare facilities have several fire and smoke suppression systems. These typically consist of fire extinguishers, sprinkler systems, and gaseous systems found in rooms housing equipment that would be damaged by water, such as computer rooms. If a sprinkler or gaseous system is impaired during a construction, renovation, or maintenance project, just as with detection systems, a temporary but equivalent system must be placed in service. However, in 2016, the Joint Commission officially adopted the National Fire Protection Association Life Safety Code of 2012. In that code, the rule for implementing a fire watch when a suppression is taken out of service is changed from 4 hours in a 24-hour period to 10 hours in a 24-hour period. Another important life safety procedure is called compartmentation. This is the use of walls, ceilings, floors, and doors to prohibit the transfer of smoke or fire from one area to another for a set period of time. This is important because smoke and fire spreads and travels fast. Consider this. Take note of the diameter of your pencil. How long do you think it would take for smoke to fill a 20 by 20 by 20 room through a small hole only the size of a pencil? Would you guess 10 minutes or 7 minutes? Actually, it would only take approximately 3 minutes and 40 seconds. In that time, the smoke would be so thick that you wouldn't see 18 inches in front of you. So, you should understand the importance of keeping these rated structures completely intact without non-corrected penetrations. Now look at the sample blueprint on the slide. You will notice there are 3 colors to represent the different types of barriers. Color coding is a helpful way to highlight the locations of rated structures in the healthcare facility. In the example, the blue areas represent smoke barriers. The green areas represent 1-hour firewalls and hazardous areas. And the red areas represent 2-hour firewalls. Color coding is not required, but very helpful. As stated, constructing compartments in a healthcare facility helps prevent fire and smoke from leaving an area for the rated time frame. This gives hospital staff time to rescue patients in harm's way, alert the fire department, and control the spread of the fire and smoke by closing doors and extinguishing the fire or evacuating the area. There are other important safety measures to help provide effective compartmentation. Fire stopping is one of those measures. Fire stops maintain the integrity of the barriers by effectively sealing penetrations. This is important because, as we have learned, it only takes a small hole for fire and smoke to spread to new areas. If your work requires penetrations in a fire or smoke structure, it is mandatory that you inform the facility staff before work begins. Remember, ask before you act. If you are a trained fire-stopping contractor, you must fire stop the penetration before you leave for the day. If you are not trained in fire stopping, the facility staff must have been informed of the penetration and told of the exact location before you leave for the day. The facility staff will make sure the penetration is repaired right away. There is no rated fire-stopping material. Only the fire-stopping system is rated. The system includes the type of structural component penetrated, the type and size of penetration, and the recommended material to be used to fire stop the penetration. If you are not trained in the process, you should never attempt to fill a penetration with a product you think will work. Doing so could give the facility staff a false sense of security and lead to serious problems if a fire occurs in the breached area. If, during the course of your work, you find a penetration through a rated structure created by someone else, please report it immediately to the facility staff. Remember, the fire stop system is rated, not fire stop material. Consider this. You are working on a project and need to make a penetration into a 2-hour fire-rated wall. How do you think you should proceed? You should ask a facility staff management representative before making this penetration. Another fire safety measure includes fire doors. Fire doors are a part of the compartmentation system, and they are designed to automatically close when there is an alert that a fire has been detected. Fire doors are rated, just like walls, ceilings, and floors. There are several considerations for fire doors. Number 1, never block the entrance or exit of a fire door. Number 2, never remove door closures. Number 3, never leave doors open without direct supervision. Number 4, never modify doors without approval and direct supervision of the facility management staff. And number 5, never tape latches shut on fire doors. Doing so could give facility staff and the safety officer the false impression that the door is in good operating condition. Yet, if there is a triggering event that makes the fire door close, the affected door will not function properly. Following these fire door guidelines will keep patients, visitors, healthcare staff, and construction personnel safe. The last life safety measure in this program includes ceilings. Ceiling tiles create a smoke-resistant barrier. During construction and renovation projects, ceiling tiles may be removed. It is extremely important that you replace them after your work is completed. As you learned in Module 2, each facility has different above-ceiling policies and permits. So always make sure you are following the proper procedures required by the healthcare facility where you will be working. There are a few other life safety measures to remember. Several spaces within healthcare facilities are considered hazardous areas by fire code and require special attention to doors, ceilings, floors, and walls. Those spaces are typically boiler rooms, laundry rooms, storage rooms, laboratories, maintenance, and repair and paint shops. Also included are oxygen supply rooms, trash collection rooms, and gift shops. it is critical to maintain the enclosure integrity of these rooms, which includes doors leading to them, walls around them, the floor below, and the ceiling above. More specifically, doors to these spaces should never be blocked or held open. Before we leave this section regarding fire safety and life safety measures, we need to address 3 common violations committed by some contractor employees. In all instances, these actions violate National Fire Protection Association standards. Hospitals are subject to inspections by surveyors from the Center for Medicare/Medicaid Services and the surveyors of independent organizations that provide accreditation to healthcare organizations like the Joint Commission, DNV Global Healthcare, and Healthcare Facilities Accreditation Program. If these surveyors observe one of the following 3 violations, a hospital will be cited for noncompliance. The violations are: number 1, hanging material across sprinkler pipes. NFPA Standard 25, Section 2-2.2 states, sprinkler pipes shall not be subjected to external loads by materials either resting on the pipe or hung from the pipe. Often these violations occur without the knowledge of hospital facility staff because typically this work is hidden by ceiling tiles. Number 2, remove structural fire stopping. Another disturbing action by some contractor employees is the removal of the fire stopping product from structural items in the hospital in order to make it easier to attach materials to such items, like steel supports. This, too, is a violation of life safety codes. Did you know that the typical building fire burns at about 1100 degrees Fahrenheit? Did you also know that at a temperature of 930 degrees, steel components lose approximately half their strength? The purpose of fire stopping on steel supports is to prevent this weakness. So remember, never remove structural fire stopping products. Number 3. The third life safety violation committed by some contractor employees is leaving the doors open on electrical junction boxes. When one or more electrical wires are twisted together, the connection causes resistance to the flow of electricity, which in turn creates heat. With several wires in one box, that heat can be multiplied. Not only do the doors protect from accidental human contact, they also help prevent potential fire and smoke from spreading in the hospital. All 3 violations must be avoided. A worker found committing any of these may be told to leave the hospital. Remember, always ask before taking action. You have arrived at the next checkpoint.